Welcome to LollieTasking with ADHD. I am your host, Dr. Lollity, a multi-passionate mom of three, a physician, and an ADHD life coach because, like most of you amazing women listening, I have ADHD. Join me as we chat about how ADHD affects our lives and learn strategies to help us all thrive, not just survive, with ADHD so we can live the life we want while accomplishing all our goals. Let's get started. Welcome to LollieTasking with ADHD. Again, I am Dr. Lollity, a physician and ADHD trained life coach for easily distracted women who are tired of being stuck in a stagnant state of busyness and ready to create productive momentum to accomplish their goals. So today is a special podcast, guy. I know sometimes you're tired of hearing me talk. So sometimes I bring some just amazing people that I just love, love, love. And I know you're gonna love Karen as much as I do. So I have Miss Karen Broda with us today. She's a personal trainer, former pro bikini athlete, y'all, current circus athlete, and a body and mind transformation coach for women with ADHD. And she currently lives in Canada. She shows you how to get fit and nourish your body without the overwhelm. She also shows you how to finally stop that negative loop in your head. You guys know about the negative loop that says you cannot do it, by uncovering the subconscious blocks that are causing you to continually self-sabotage. She is totally, totally talking my language right now. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Oh my God, thank you so much. I'm so excited for this. I love the energy, and this is all the things I love.
Oh, we
Fitness and
can't
energy.
wait. We can't wait. We can't wait. It's going to be amazing. So, before we get into fitness and the whole fun and flow strategies, I just want to hear your ADHD story. A lot of the women who listen to our podcast are either just getting diagnosed or just trying to figure out what their ADHD is. And it's a lot of times I hear that just hearing the stories uplifts them. So do you mind just sharing a little bit about your ADHD story, how you were diagnosed? Was it when you were younger, older, how you stumbled into it, maybe?
Absolutely. I feel like a lot of us do stumble into it, and we're like, what? Oh, ADHD? Okay, life makes sense. So
Right.
that was very similar to my story. And it's funny because I can't even remember the specifics, even though it was only a year ago. So almost a year to the date. I think how it came up was really I was just talking with a coworker who had become my friend, and this is a time when I was not just doing my coaches, actually before coaching ADHD women, so I was working in an office, and she has ADHD, and we got talking. I was like, "Whoa, okay, everything you're describing is literally me." And I thought I was just this anomaly and was just kind of weird and had this brain that worked different. And and by different I mean I couldn't keep up with the world. And she's like, "You can get tested for ADHD." I was like, "That's a thing? What?"
Mhm.
So that started the process. I got tested really quick. They had cancellations, was able to get in. Usually the wait lists are super long here, at least where I live. And I mean, I was really happy to get the diagnosis. Even if I didn't, it wouldn't have changed anything because it gave me permission to be like, oh, I can work differently. And it really allowed this forgiveness process within me.
Mm.
But what happened was talking with this ADHD specialist, they're like, you 100% have it. I was like, fantastic. My life makes sense.
Right.
And like I say, it was for myself, it was permission to be like, okay, I'm not this black sheep who's just struggling in the world and everything's just hard for me. Things just work differently. And that means I can have different approaches to things, and that's okay. And then I realized, whoa, how I've made fitness, eating healthy, like wellness routines feel so simple in my life was because I approached them completely different. And this is
Mhm.
something I can help others on. Yeah.
Oh, that is so fantastic. I totally, totally agree with you. A lot of us is always like, oh, oh, that makes sense. Oh, I'm not weird. Right? Because for whatever reason, I feel like we were all kind of like in our own separate islands. And we didn't even realize that we had other amazing people like ourselves out there. And then you hear other people, you're like, oh, we do exist. I'm just not weird. And I think that's one of the amazing things about getting in an ADHD community. And I say that all the time. Like, it's good to hear podcasts, but it's also amazing when you're in a community of women who understand you and they're like, "Yep, we get you." And there's no
100%.
judgment whatsoever.
And it's great for, just those days where you're maybe slightly suffering, dying a little bit. You're like, okay, I'm among my comrades. We've all experienced this. I'll get through this. And it's like those safe spaces to vent and people understand you. It's fantastic.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, you've been a coach prior, or you are a pro, like, okay, you are a pro bikini athlete. Like, what is that, first of all?
What's your story?
And number two, like, how did you stumble? Like, I guess you've been a fitness coach prior to your diagnosis. Um, but in you getting diagnosed with ADHD, was that why you were like, you know what? Let me help my people.
Yeah, I'll give you the Karen story in like hopefully a 2-minute chunk here. I mean, in true ADHD fashion, I've done all of the things and all the experiences, but I was doing fitness coaching, like mindset coaching, a couple years ago, and it was just for ambitious, overachieving women. And pre-diagnosis, and this will make sense, as I kind of alluded to in my story, my strategies weren't fully working for them. And I was like, but
Mm.
it works for me. And then I was like, oh, because I work differently. So a lot of the strategies I use actually weren't the best fit for them. So that's what then made me
Mm.
transition to ADHD coaching. But in between then, I was kind of like, I don't know if this is working. I don't know. I mean, I was getting in my own way in all the ways in business. So I had a coaching business, but it wasn't very successful because I was fighting against my brain. So that kind of then transitioned, getting diagnosed. Oh, now I know how to set up a business. Oh, now I know who to help. And that was a big revelation a year ago. Onto like bikini athlete and circus and personal training, all this stuff. So I've always been in fitness. My movement story is what I call it, is that as a kid, I just loved moving my body. It's my most favorite thing. As a teen and adult, lifted weights. I loved feeling strong. I was doing it for the wrong reasons for a lot of it because I didn't feel I was worthy enough and thought if I lifted weights, I'd be strong, I'd be thin, and then I'd be seen. And it gave me self validation and worth. Healed all that over the years.
Mhm.
During that, though, I started competing in bodybuilding. Now, I did that for 7 years, earned a professional status, loved it, like every bit of it. I absolutely loved.
Mm.
And that was literally the start of this self worth journey.
Mm.
A lot of people do it for the wrong reasons. I was started at that, but learned and grew so much as a person that I stopped caring about what people thought of me and my worth.
Absolutely.
And it was like, this is just a thing for me. And I'm going to show up on a stage in this completely ridiculous, frivolous competition and know that it doesn't matter, that my worth isn't tied to this. It's just the journey and it's just fun. And I love moving my body. And then
Oh.
that was this big 7-year learning journey of how I was attaching self worth to body image so much. So I retired from that a couple years ago, kind of at the end of that journey for my own discovery, and then moved into circus. And I'm saying all this really quickly, but all of these things make complete sense where I ended all these activities and it was the end of a learning journey for myself, which I now teach. So I'm gonna kind of
Mhm.
like wrap this in a bow. I do circus training. It's so ridiculously fun. I fly in the air. I like twirl down on silks and completely different than weightlifting and weight training. But this is movement that really connects me with my body and really lets me express more of an artistic, emotional side, which I've never done before. And it's another area of growth of being able to really connect more inward and continue my inner journey of self-worth and self-discovery.
That's so awesome. In hearing you, because of course my coaching act comes out, right? And I'm like, oh, everything you're saying, one thing I could connect is you loved it. It was fun, right? Like even like when you did the pro bikini athletes. Oh, it was fun for you. And now you're in circus and it's fun for you. And I tell people all the time, whenever you want to do anything, be it exercise or movement, right? You have to make it fun. Our brain does not like boring. No, it doesn't, right?
100%. And I love you mention that because it was something I very firmly believe in and teach is that I mean, you have to find something that's fun. Because if it's not fun, just think if you think of all the fun activities you do in your life, like going for ice cream, maybe going shopping, maybe, I don't know, riding your bike, you get like butterflies, like happy butterflies in your stomach. You're excited. You want to go do that. You're energized. If you hated the gym and I told you you have to go to the gym, it's like pushing a boulder up a hill. You're not gonna do it.
Nope.
So why not choose something fun that's gonna be so much easier to go do? And then I take a step further of calling it your movement flow. It's like what moves your body that you are so focused on it with your body and your mind that literally like everything goes quiet. It's hard, right? You're working hard, but you're like, this feels so good. I'm so in my body. Like my head is just not here. It's just quiet. And you absolutely love it. Like that's what I want you to find because that's going to get you fit. It's going to be challenging, but it's going to be so enticing to go do.
I just love the way you are picking or doing some things that I teach in our program all the time. I always talk about the importance of naming things appropriately and importance of naming things in a way that helps our brain. Like if you had said exercise, automatically my body's like, nope, 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 I don't want to do it, right? But when you're like, oh, let's go move, we're like, yes, let's go move. Like, let's go move our body,
I always
right?
think about changing the name. Like case in point, if I have to clean my house, that sounds terrible. But I call it beautifying my home. Oh, I
Okay.
am doing all the things.
Okay, let's beautify this place.
Totally.
Absolutely. So you have to like one change it, change the name to whatever it is. And if movement doesn't work for you, find another name that makes you want to do it. All right. So I know we could keep going in true ADHD fashion. We're gonna just keep talking and then we will get to what we really want to talk about. But I love this idea of finding your fun and flow in fitness. Do you have any kind of like steps or tips you can help us? I know you had talked about some maybe top 5 tips or whatever that could just help us have like a good routine that can one, I'm all about using exercise or movement to increase your dopamine naturally. And I'm all about even if it's 10 minutes, just do something. Do you have any tips that can help our ladies listening um solidify it and make it a habit that just comes naturally?
Totally. I'm going to give you a tip on finding your movement flow, just a little series of questions if even if your like community wants to jot these down right now. And then what I call your fitness system. It's really
Mm,
systemizing fitness, not so you become a robot, but so it becomes easy. So to find your movement flow, first off, like ask yourself in my entire life, what activities have I stuck with for like more than 6 months? And if nothing comes to mind, that's okay. Just think of ones you've maybe tried that you enjoyed. And then what aspects of it did you love? So maybe you're like, I used to cycle for 6 months, but what I really loved about it was like being outside, going fast, like I was part of a team. I really like that. So what aspects really like pulled your attention that you absolutely loved? Then using those aspects of it, I want you just do a brain dump. Like what activities you know of that embody that? Maybe you liked, yeah, cycling because you're moving fast outside. Maybe, yeah, I don't know, you want to try bungee jumping. Maybe that's a thing. Maybe you want to go skydiving. I don't know. Like think of some other activities. We're great at brainstorming that
yep.
encompass or embody those aspects and make a list and to completely ignore all the shoulds like, oh, this won't get me fit. I should do this, or I need to do this 5 days a week. Like, just put those aside for now. Create this list that sounds so exciting for you, and then commit to trying one or two of those in the next 2 weeks. And then just start there for finding your movement flow. I have a few more other ways to go about this that I have in my community, but that's the kind of the short of it. Now, your fitness system, this is how you stick with exercise. There's different layers, but some really like top level quick tips is that you want to do the same thing every like a day. So every Monday, same thing, every Tuesday, the same thing, every Wednesday, the same thing. That way you're not thinking, what am I doing today? What's happening? Where, we timeline this, things get away from us. And then we go down the rabbit hole and second guess the workout we want to do. So if you found your movement flow, you're like, it's swimming and rock climbing, great. And you also like running, fantastic. Maybe every Monday you swim, every Tuesday you run, every Wednesday you go rock climbing. Keep it the same. Second part is keep it the same relative time every day. So relative means like pair it with something, like buddy it up. I call it the buddy system. Buddy it up with, every day before lunch you do this, or every Monday it's before lunch, and then every Tuesday it's after lunch. And, keep it the same to make it easy. The best way I'd say is first thing in the morning, because it's a great way to pause your brain before it's going to ping and jump all over the place. It gets you energized. It gets you connected to your body, which is like an easy mindfulness meditation hack. And even if it's like 15 or 30 minutes, know that that's enough. It is always enough. So those are like the top level tips that I would give. I know first thing in the morning is the best. I mean, there's so many other benefits to that. That's not going to work. Same relative time every day, maybe every weekday, and the weekends are different. Find your movement flow and have the activity the same every like day, like every Monday, every Tuesday. Does that
Oh,
help?
absolutely. And you're totally speaking my language because I talk about how, like, I think we need to move every day, regardless. We need to move. We we are a moving animal, right? We're not sloths, right? We're supposed to move, especially with ADHD. We know that movement and exercise are fun, helps our dopamine. So why not only use that for your health, from a health standpoint, and also from an ADHD standpoint. And I love the fact that you didn't say 2 hours. You said 15 minutes,
I
right?
would die. I mean, I love weightlifting, just especially during bodybuilding things. But once that hour mark goes up, like frick, my brain's out of here. I'm gone. That's it.
Right. And I even tell people, like, maybe you've never worked out. Like, maybe start with 5 minutes. Wouldn't you say that? And then build your way up to 15 minutes. Like,
Yeah, I always say for say clients that are already working out and they're not feeling it, I'm like, do your warm up. Like just do the
mm,
warm up and then you're allowed to peace out after the warm up and you feel you want to keep going, great. Or usually the warm up is 15 minutes. Just set the 15-minute timer. Literally just be like, okay, I'm moving for 15 minutes. If I feel good and I want to do more after, that's like bonus. That's like a cherry on the ice cream. But right now the 15 minutes is your ice cream and that's perfect.
awesome. So, what if one of the things I hear sometimes is like, it is just so hard to work out with kids. And yeah, it's easy for you to say, Dr. Lola, your kids are older. Or it's easy for you to say, Karen, you don't have kids. And I'm thinking that, right? You
Yeah.
don't have kids. Like, I just can't do it. Like, what advice do you give those people?
Ooh, this is a lot of my clients have kids, so this is fantastic. The big thing I work on with clients with kids is like getting down to like a mindset thing. It's like I can't do this because this needs to be done, this needs to be done. I have kids, this. There's huge to-do list, a priority list, and often on those to-do list, a priority list, you're not even on it. Maybe
Mm,
you're on the bottom, but you're probably not even on the list. And I think we know this deep down is that you're actually number one on the priority list. So I mean, I'll have you guys all do this now or think about this. If you're not on your to-do list, like you haven't worked out, you're really busy. If nothing changes, where are you in 6 months or 1 year time? Like if you don't change any of your circumstances, what happens? Probably the same. Maybe you're going to be even more stressed. Maybe you're still not going to be sleeping well. You're going to have even bigger bags under your eyes. You're going to be like more angry and just maybe snap out at people in your family. Now, what if, just what if, like it doesn't have to be possible, just what if you took 30 minutes for yourself, dedicated to move your body every day? What's the worst thing that could happen? List all the things that could possibly go wrong. What are the best things that can happen? And if you did that every day for 6 months, where would you be?
Mm-hmm.
I want you to go back to the list of all the things that are going to stay the same or get worse if you don't change your circumstance. That is what it's costing you by not putting you on your priority list. If you're like, I'm more stressed, I'm snapping at my husband,
Mm-hmm.
I'm, just always exhausted. That literally, by not putting you number one on your priority list, that's what it's costing you. So, are you worth it? Of course you are. What's the worst
Mm-hmm.
thing that can happen? Probably not that bad. It's hard to
Absolutely.
change, but doesn't mean that you can't change it.
Absolutely. And I find it so interesting because I mean, obviously, I'm a mom, so and I totally get it. We get really busy. And that's why I love that you said just do it early in the morning. Like, do it first thing in the morning, especially if you're a busy mom, if you're a busy professional. Because what happens throughout the day is you end up giving to everybody and you've not given anything to yourself. So I'm all about having, if you look on my calendar, I have a me time. It's me time. Don't bother me. That's my time. Okay. And one thing I realized, just like you said, the days I don't have my me time, I'm snappier. I'm not in flow state like I usually am, right? So in you taking care of yourself, you actually end up taking care of your family and your children. They get a better version of you because your battery is fully charged as opposed to on red.
And to add to that too, like working, if I don't work out first thing in the morning, I'm like, I'll do it later in the day. If I don't have a specific like workout class I'm going to, it's hard, you guys. Like fitness is my life. It is still hard because task switching for us is really hard. We just
Absolutely.
stay on our one train and we go, we hyper focus for the most part. So working out first thing is such a lifesaver for that. So I really, really recommend doing that if you can. And it may take a bit of work in your schedule. Maybe you have to ask your partner to be like, hey, or ask for extra support. You got to watch the kids in the morning because this is so
Mhm.
important for like my energy, my stress, my like happiness, like everything. Managing your
Yeah.
ADHD. It's, just make it happen.
I love that you said ask your partner because sometimes we feel like we have to do it all alone and we don't, you know. If you have a partner, ask them to watch the kids, you know, maybe on Monday, Wednesday, Friday is the day they watch the kids and they go on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday or whatever. But I totally love that. I've gotten so many tips already, like making sure it's the first thing we do in the morning, make it fun. Our brain is not like boring just because this exercise is the new it exercise outside does not mean it's gonna work for us. So why not do something you actually love doing? And I also love the fact that we don't necessarily have to call it exercise, right? Just moving your body, because that is what you're doing when you quote unquote exercise, you're moving your body. So all those are amazing tips. So with our ADHD brain, I always ask all our guests this one question. If after listening to the podcast today, they have heard all this wonderful tips, and you know, our working memory tends to leave us sometimes. And if you could just have them remember one thing, what would be the most important tip that if you don't do anything else, just do this one thing, what will it be?
Okay, I may be kind of cheating this question, but we're gonna go with this. I want you to pick one thing that resonated with you today, whether it's the journal activity, whether it's just moving your body first thing in the morning for 15 minutes, one thing, and commit to sticking to it for 14 days. We're really good at planning and doing something, then jumping off the wagon. We
Mhm.
can do anything for 14 days. make it a conscious effort. It does take conscious effort for 14 days. After that, you're totally allowed to not do it anymore. But if you do it for 14 days, you're going to start to build trust in yourself and prove to yourself that, like, oh, I just did this. And this is available to me at any time. So if you move your body for 30 minutes for 14 days in a row, you just prove to yourself, I can do this. And that's going to be so much easier to come back to.
I love how Coach Karen turned that back on you guys because and I love that actually, because you know yourself more than anything. You know what works for you. And I think that's if I could pick anything that stuck out to me out of this conversation, is that for it to work for you, it has to be something that you feel. It has to be something that you find fun. It has to be something that is doable for you. But this has been so amazing. I thank you so much. I thank you so much for coming today on our podcast. I know a lot of people are hearing this and they're like, how can I work with Coach Karen? Can you tell us a little bit about your program and then also how we can get a hold of you?
Absolutely. And thank you so much for having me. This has been so much fun. I love connecting with other ADHDers as well. So how to work with me, I have two main ways. The first one is my 12-week transformational program. It's called the Fitness Identity Course, Transforming Your Body and Your Mind. So we dive deep into the self-sabotaging beliefs. So things that you're like, I know what to do, but I can't seem to do them. Those things. So we dive really deep in changing that. And that's going to give you strategies for the long term and no more jumping on and off the wagon. But you also do get your specific direction on fitness, on nutrition, on morning, night routines. That's a one-to-one program with myself. The other way is the ADHD Wellness Community. So this is a monthly membership where you get live coaching along with a private community, workout body doubling. So you just join on the workout times and you can do your own workout with Zoom on and I'll be there. And there's also action steps that you'll get after each live call of what you need to implement in the next week. And all of the listeners and any of your community members and clients do get 50% off their first month. So we can drop a code. Let's use your first name.
Yes, I will put it in the show notes. And I believe it's called Lola, Lola.
Yeah.
So if you are listening to this and you want to join the ADHD wellness community, which I think I'm going to sign up to, you guys know I'm always talking about my weight. So I need to get on it. I need to get onto it. I'm going to drop the code in the show note. Go ahead and get in touch with Coach Karen and she will help you out. It's been so amazing having you here. Do you have any last words before we wrap up?
Most importantly for all of you to remember is that you can do this. You 100% have this in you. If I can make fitness and wellness work for me, you're no different than me. So you have this available for you as well. It just takes a little bit of digging into the mindset blocks, a little bit of systems to make it work for you.
Absolutely. So I just want to thank you for joining us today, Coach Karen. It's been so amazing having you. And I also want to thank the listener for listening to another amazing episode of LollieTasking. We will have all Karen's information in the show note, like I said, and you can always contact us via IG at LollieTasker or email us at hello@LollieTasking.com. Till next time, remember, just like Coach Karen says, you can do it too with some planning, a little bit of balance, and a dash of
Thanks for hanging out with us on another episode of LollieTasking with ADHD. If you like what you've heard today, I would love for you to click the subscribe button, rate, and leave a great review, in addition to sharing with your friends. Your review allows visibility and also allows other amazing women to find this podcast. Also, if you have any questions or topics you would like for us to discuss, please contact me via direct message on Instagram at LollieTasker or email us at hello@LollieTasking.com. Till next time, this is LollieTasking with ADHD.